Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. This is what we're going to learn how to do today. It's a beautiful feather circular fill that allows you to place it into any kind of zone. There's no marking involved in this outside of the box that we're going to place this in. So we're actually ready to head to the long arm and get started. All right, we are all set to begin. As you can see, I have marked in a box. It's fairly large, but we're going to make short order of it, putting our fill pattern in. I always like to start in a corner. It leaves one less corner for me to have to figure out as things get going. So I'm actually going to drop my needle in at the corner and I will tie off. If you've noticed, this assembly here looks a little different. It's because I have my brand new machine. It's an Anova. It is an amazing machine with lightning stitch and I'm in love with it. Let's get started. We're going to put our first swirl in. The swirl is done. I will actually turn this light off. That's better, sorry about that. And let's get started. We're going to put in our first whirl of feathers. I like to make some of them reach and stretch. It gives great movement. That last one was a bit wonky and I just keep plugging away. I've got a camera that's in the way as usual and it makes things a little more tricky, but I'm done with this. I'm actually going to travel along the feather that I drew, go about to the middle of it, and it's from there I'm actually going to place the next circle. I don't like to stack circle on top of circle on top of circle on top of circle. It looks too lineal. So once I finish something, I will just track along till I get somewhere out in the open. This is as good a place as any. Put in the next swirl. Let's go. The swirl is in, and it's from here that I'll start reaching the feathers down this way and wrapping. Here we go. Making some of them long and some of them short just to provide some great variety. I'll just track along this, up the spine, over a bit, and I'll go way over this time. Way over to here. Place the next circle in. Made this one pretty big. I made this one really dip just to do something different. I'll start fanning them upwards. Then I'm going to actually travel along this ditch up to the top, put in another circle, and I'll be kneading what I just did. There's the first feather. I'm going to be bouncing back to the one I just dispatched in just a second, and I'll show you how we do it. We're going to travel along the groove, back to the feather, follow along the spine, and look at that, we're back on the one we just finished. The beautiful thing about doing this fill is you can jump from feather to feather. You don't have to stay in the one that you're on as long as you connect it to something else, like this for instance. That allows me to then track along this. I'll jump out of the border, I'll come over here, I'll put in another circle. Reaching to fill that zone. I'm leaving space. I didn't bring this all the way down to here because I'm going to actually jump off of this one and back over to here to finish off this whirl that's down here. Here we go. Sorry about that, wrong button. I'll take this all the way over to the end of the frame. I'll now travel along the frame over to this corner. Spiral along that circle, travel down, and it's about here that I think I'll put the next one. I traveled a good ways down because it gives me a big zone with which to put in a feather. And once I start putting that feather in, I may do some extending of things to jump over to another place to continue on something I'd already started. Let's go. Now, it's down here where I will place the last feather. And once I start reaching that feather over to this feather, I'm going to track along the feather over to here, and I'll finish out the spray on this feather to fill the zone. So, I've got a game plan. I'm going to track along till I hit that feather. I can now borrow this feather and track along it. That feather touches the circle at this point. I'll come onto the circle and I'll track back across the circle. Here we go, finishing this last void. I'm going to make this feather so big that I'm going to make it fill this whole zone. Really stretching it. The hardest area to fill is done. The fact that this feather has to stretch so far is actually a good thing, and you'll see what I mean in a minute. It gives such great movement to pieces when you can stretch things and make them all a little different. After all, it is the uniqueness in the world that makes it special, is it not? And we will move on out, and I'll let you get a glimpse of this. It's such a beautiful fill, and every one of them comes out a little different, but it sure is a beautiful thing. Isn't that beautiful? And that one that filled that area is so unique. There you have it. What a beautiful feather fill that was. I hope you enjoyed what you saw, and if you did, please don't forget to click on the subscribe button below the screen. If you'd like to visit my website, you can go to www.threadworksfactory.com. You can check out my blogs, and you can even register for notifications when I make a new blog. I'm also on Facebook. Look for me at Threadworks Factory. Go on off and give this a try. I hope you enjoy what you're doing and you get to be creative today. And thank you again for joining me. Have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.